Hi, folks. Let me bring my friends on. Anthony, Joe, and Eddie.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
What's
Hi,
up?
everybody. All right. Now, before we start to talk about who knows what, I found I didn't even realize I knew I had it, but I never looked at it for over a year. I have a website. I knew I built one, but I forgot all about it. It was about a year and a half ago. And to get to the website, yeah, it's larryrolla.com, and you get to my website. On the website, it has a bunch of information about training and conditioning, and it has all the podcasts on it. Every podcast I did is on that website, plus a lot of information about training and conditioning. And it also has its own email address, which I didn't even know. And I looked at it, and there's a couple of things on there that I answered, and a couple of more. And now I got them all mixed up because now I have three websites. I have three websites and three different addresses, and now I'm really confused. And it's safe to say that that my memory pills are not working. So I have
Say that.
I have a problem. It's going on 2 months now, and I don't see any different. So what I did is I'm gonna answer a couple of questions, and you see, when your mind goes, even when you write things down,
You wrote them wrong.
no, you forget where you put them. So I wrote three
Should be
things.
on a piece of paper.
You should have a folder and label the folder of different
Put it
Well,
on, right?
I have papers all over the place, but the first
That's the
thing
problem.
I want to have, and I don't know if these were old questions or new questions, but you know what? We'll go through them. Let's see. Now the problem is I have to I have to find I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay. This is the first one. It's a miracle I found it. Okay. So this guy Jam Sid 33. He said, what a lot of people don't understand about John Campbell is that he was not only on the best horse in most races, hard to believe, but true, yet he would give every horse he drove the opportunity to win. That is what separated Campbell with other drivers. So the horse is important, but does not. But the horse is important, but does the driver give the horse the best opportunity to win? Well, here's because everybody asks all of us all the time, our whole lives, who do you think is the best? Who do you think what are the best top three and everything? And my top three were always Campbell, O'Donnell, and LeChance. And but here's when I got this, and I think we talked about this when we were talking about that probably any top driver would have the same amount of wins if the drivers were reversed on. In other words, if you took a top driver, took John Campbell off, would that top driver still win with that horse? And I believe he would. And here's the reasons. To be a guy in that caliber, and there are a bunch of them, and some of them you're never going to hear of because they never have a chance. But what you need is talent, skill, finesse, and guts. That's what you need. That's what all the top guys have, and including these new kids coming up today. And as far as talent goes, that's natural. You're born with talent, whatever it might be. You just have natural abilities or a natural ability to do one certain thing. So that's you're born with that. As far as skill goes, skill is like the ability to do something well, and you get the skill through learning and through in time and experience. You get the skill. As far as finesse goes, uh, that's handling a horse. They call a lot of people call he got some set of hands, but it's like finesse. Like I remember with the thoroughbreds, Julie Crone, there were jockeys, male jockeys that had a tough time holding some of these thoroughbred horses, and they put Julie Crone on it, and she would two finger them. She would just have that finesse about it and understanding it. So it's a combination of finesse, of understanding, artfulness, and and then the last thing that you have to have is guts. Uh, you got to. By that I mean not only do you have to not be afraid, you have to be able to remain calm at all times. It's like a natural thing. A lot of people get nervous if they're in tough situations, like like in a horse race, and I guess everybody gets a little bit of the jitters, especially when you're in a 10-horse field going for millions of dollars or whatever, whether it be harness racing or thoroughbred racing. Uh, you gotta have them things. Now I know a lot of guys that were very very talented, but they had no guts. They get in one wreck. I remember one kid broke his wrist, and that was the end of that. He was scared to death to be in a race, and that happens. That happens many a times, and many times you see somebody that has three of these four things that you need, and but they have no finesse. They just have hands like lead anchors that they just grab a horse and like no finesse. Like not, there's many times with a trotter, just with the lines, you could help them a lot. And some guys just don't have that, and that's why the guys that are at the top of the game have all of these four attributes going for them, and it's in my mind it's impossible to separate them if they have all four of these talents. So. Yeah, Campbell, I think Campbell could have won with anything O'Donnell drove, and vice versa. Uh, and that's my feeling. That's my explanation. And some people say LaChance was probably the best of the best with trotters, but LaChance is one of my top three guys for many reasons. And I believe that if Campbell drove any one of the trotters that LaChance won with, I believe Campbell would have won with them. So that's what I think. So
Well, Larry, you know it. All three of you should know this, that you could have the best horse in the race. If you don't make the right decision, you ain't going to win. So you got to have brains and know exactly what position and when to pull, when not to pull. I mean, you could have a horse 3 seconds the best. You get jammed up.
yeah, well, maybe I should have added the fifth one, and maybe the fifth one should have been brains. But I would imagine that these guys that probably falls into talent with me, just a sense of, because there's a list that you can make a long list. You got to have a great sense of pace, but
Yeah.
that usually comes with skill, and it's a learning process. I mean, just because you have talent and you have guts, that don't mean you can come to the barn and I put you on a horse and say, okay, go out there and go a mile and 20, and go each quarter in 35 seconds. How would you know what 35 seconds is? In a car, you look at a speedometer. There's no speedometer. And even if you have a stopwatch, you still have to have some kind of sense of pace. That's all taught. That experience will tell you. As far as in the race goes, that's different. Them are split minute decisions that you have to make. But every one of these top guys, as soon as this gate leaves, and by the time they get to the eighth pole, and maybe even before, they know where everybody is. They know where the best horse is. They know where every horse is in a race, and that's why you see a lot of times they make these moves at the quarter pole or at the eighth pole. It's just a sense of pace. Many times you see a single formation going to the quarter pole, especially in the older days, and before they get to the quarter pole, you see one or two guys come out and come charging because they're going too slow. That's just something that falls, in my opinion, it falls under the category of skill. You just have a sense of pace, and and before you know it, everybody on this screen here, because everybody that's been in the business, after a couple of years, you can go out and go 1:20 or 30 or 15 without a stopwatch, and you'll come back and say, "What'd you go?" And be off maybe a second or two. That's it. But that comes with skill and time and experience. And you can only have the skill and time and experience if you have the talent that you were born with. Some people have no talent. Some people drive a car for 50 years, and I never had an accident. In the meantime, you see them behind the wheel, the seats all the way up to the steering wheel. They're grabbing the steering wheel like it was a lifeline, and they're just like frightened, but they're never the kind of people that are in the left lane going 30 miles an hour on the turnpike. And when you blink your lights at them or go around them and give them a look, they just look straight ahead. But they never had an accident. They just caused it. But anyway, that's one of the. Anybody have anything to say about that? Because what you said is true, Eddie. As far as the split-second decisions, now the next question pertaining to that would be what driver has the best instincts in a race. And the problem is this: is that every horse, every race, every week is different. Is different. Sometimes they're not feeling that well. Sometimes that you see and all of us drove horses, so sometimes you get a horse behind the gate and he wasn't the same as he was the week before or the time before. And sometimes they're raring to leave out of the gate, and before the race, you say, "Well, last week I had a hell of a time getting them off the gate. This week I got the 4-hole. There's no speed on the inside of me, and I'll leave with him." And he can barely keep up with the gate. So, these are all split-second decisions you have to make, and when they're split-second decisions, sometimes even the best of us, the best of them out there, they make the wrong decision. And sometimes you could say after the race, "Did you do anything different?" And he would say, "Yeah, I should have put out a half for the quarter pole, or I should have followed that guy." So anyway, that's it. Anybody got anything to say about that? Because I got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other things I'm going to get to. Then you guys can take over.
All right, keep going, man.
All I can say is there's different strategies for every situation, and you don't know what's going to happen until it happens, and you got to adapt.
Yeah.
You can plan it in your head before the race, but
you got to take advantage of when you can move into a slow quarter.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go to the next one here. They're not in order, so I'll just start.
All right.
Let's see what this one says. This one says, Peter how do you say that last name, Anthony?
DeFilvio.
Yeah, DeFilvio.
He says, "Glad to see you are doing well. If you do not remember me, I work for you at the Meadowlands. Mom and Lou have passed. If this is foggy for your memory, think about Chester Direct and Rodale and the wreck at Yonkers with Sea Missile." Well, first of all, Peter, I'm sorry about your mom and dad, mom and Lou. I really don't remember them, and, I don't remember. I think maybe I do remember you. I think vaguely. I remember Chester Direct. That was a long time ago. And I remember Rodale a long time ago. That was in the 60s, I think. And the wreck at Yonkers with Sea Missile, that's the wreck where, if I remember right, the whole back page of the Daily News, I think, the finish line photographer, there was a wreck in the first turn. The horse in front of me at Yonkers went down going into the first turn. And I went right over him, and I was catapulted about 10 feet in the air. And the track photographer caught me up in the air, and it was the picture in the newspaper, in the whole back page of the news.
See you there.
And somebody sent it to me, and that's when I landed. I broke my knee, and I was like a little daisy, and my father jumped over the fence and ran onto the track. By that time, the horses were coming around the turn at the quarter pole. Right after the quarter pole, they were coming. By the time he picked me up and carried me off, the horses got right to where I was. So I do remember that. But anyway, I don't know when you sent this question, Peter, but thanks. Okay, that's one. Here's another one. Joe, hi, Larry. I'd like to know how you got over your shaking urges to gamble every week. Can you ask Joe what finally made him stop betting big money? I'm a big fan. Thank you, Joe. Well, what made me stop was Cabert and the threat that, well, first of all, I every penny I earned, I had to go to him, and I just I had no desire. I had more of a desire to live than to bet, and that's what stopped me. The desire I had to live, and I had to pay my gambling debt, and it took me probably, oh God, 4 or 5 years, maybe 3 years, 3 or 4 years to pay it off. So that's what stopped me. And then after that, by the time I paid that gambling debt off, I was basically cured. I had no more desire to bet. He asked about you, Joe. What made you change?
When I realized that I was doing things that are not my nature, I was doing a lot of not terrible things, but underhanded things, juggling other people's money. My mother and father were very nervous with the people I was associating with. They knew I hung out with the wrong bunch of people as far as the fun part of the avenue, and
Were
it got
you
to a
able to
point
just
where
stop?
what?
Were you able to just cut it off, like you would stop smoking, throw a pack of cigarettes out of the window? Were you
Yeah,
able
I
to?
did actually. I did. I went into a rehab for a while,
You
and
did?
yeah, yeah. I was in South Oaks for I think 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Good old
it
Master
helped.
Patriot.
It helped a lot.
All
It was
right.
more,
Well,
it was more I was affecting people in my family, and it was no good. I was getting doing the wrong things.
okay. Here's another one. I was an owner with Joe Guarino. I owned Dash Off Bye Bye. Was that a horse? Dash Off Bye Bye
Yeah, Hi Snyder. Wow,
and Swift Suburb
superb.
and others, if possible. Can you tell Joe to call me? Would love to talk to him. Thanks. Hi, Snyder.
Wow, he was a great owner.
Well,
He's
his
from
phone
Staten
number is
Island.
right there. His phone number is right there. I left it on there. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. I don't think he's going to get any death threats, so I left the number up there.
He was a
Can you
great guy. He bailed me out many times.
can you see the number, Joe?
uh, I I can't, but
You got
read
to
it to me. Read it to me.
Joe. You got to come prepared.
Listen, Anthony's supposed to send me this thing. I'm waiting for it every day. I don't get it. Read it. Read it to me.
All right, 718 667 4042.
Yeah, hi Snyder and his wife Elaine. They were great people. They.
Okay. Now you got his number, so call him.
You sure this ain't like from 2 years ago?
What?
How old is this?
I don't know. I just found it. Oh, it says May 28th.
Okay, I'm gonna call him later.
Yeah, call him.
Yeah,
I
I was a
hope he's
great
not
guy.
mad that I put his number on the air, but uh, maybe you'll get a call from Australia or something.
Yeah,
Okay,
wow.
here we go. Laura Bradbury. Larry, I made the mistake of my life when I left Fred Bradbury, the love of my life. I beg for you. I beg for forgiveness every day. Can you help him get into the Hall of Fame? It was the it was his biggest wish. He loved you. Well, uh, Bradbury was married at the time. He worked for me with Laura, and in fact, well, first let me say this, Laura. If I had any power at all, I would nominate him for the Hall of Fame. I don't have any of that kind of power. It's in the people that make them decisions. I don't know. I have no connection to them. I wish I did because I met a lot of them back then in the 60s and in the 70s, all the old timers. And he was one of the best. He had that trotter Diane, and he had another horse. I can't going through. I think maybe it was going through, and going through. I think he was working for me at the time, or I forget how it was, but he had going through in a stake race. I think it was at Liberty Bell, and he asked me if I would go down to drive him, and I said that I would. And the horse, 9-horse van, went off the road on the turnpike.
Oh
I
God.
believe every horse on that truck died or had to be put down, except for going through. If that was I'm almost positive that was the horse's name. And they found him when everybody got to him. They found him hanging from the chains, and just his body was just hanging, but he survived, all cut up and busted up. They wind up shipping him to the stall that was at Liberty Bell for him, and that's we went right there. And it was maybe he was in the go. Uh, 3 days later, I believe, and we walked him out the next day. Naturally, the vet came, gave him whatever he gave him, and make a long story short, they asked me to warm him up. He just had a lot of cuts and bruises on him, but he was acting all right, and he warmed up okay. So Fred says, "Should we go with him?" And I says he seems happy. He seems okay to me, and I'm almost positive I won the race. I either won or was second. I don't remember, but I think I don't remember. But the people that owned Diane were the same owners of that horse going through. But Fred later on, uh, he wind up working for me when I bought that barn at Sunshine Meadows, and I had the whole barn, the whole back of the barn. The barn had 40 stalls. I bought the whole barn, and 20 stalls in the back. I bought all yearlings for Fred Bradbury to break. and while I was at the Meadowlands and in California and Florida, and that was his job, and that was it. And then when I got bought in '84, Fred went on, and I don't think he lived too much longer after that. But Laura, he was a great guy. He was a top trainer, great guy with rigging horses and hanging up horses. And back in them days when he was around, you had to know what to do. I mean, they didn't come out; they weren't automatics. You had a tough time getting them to trot or the pace, and he was one of the best at that. I wish I could help you, Laura. He was a great guy. He was a good guy, and he was a good friend. I'm sorry I can't. I'm sorry I can't help you.
Larry, before you go any further, there's a picture here on the present again, labeled Larry. Open it up.
What's that on the?
Yeah, on the present says Larry.
Oh, here.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's a picture of.
Yeah, Mike Dross sent it to me.
Oh, that's a picture. That's me on the floor there.
Yeah.
There was another picture. There were two newspapers, the Daily Mirror and the New York News. One of them had me in the air, and this one here, I don't think I ever saw this one. Oh, maybe I did.
Where is it?
Maybe it's this one. I don't know. But I know I broke my knee, and I couldn't get up, and I was dazed. And when they went around, my father jumped the rail, and by the time he picked me up and carried me off, the horses were right back in this spot again. Yeah, how the hell's he find these things?
I don't know. That's what I said about
Where's
him.
the picture,
These
Larry?
things that,
Where's the picture?
Did you put it up?
yeah, it's underneath the basketball players. It's on the bottom of the page.
I don't see
I
no
see
picture.
it.
We got. You know what, Anthony? Anthony and Eddie, we're gonna chip in and get him a computer with a big
I
screen.
know. Jeez.
That's what we're gonna do.
I
We're gonna
see
get him
this. And what, Joe? You don't see it?
I don't see it.
No, he needs a computer. We got to get him a computer. Don't even send him that thing, Anthony. We'll get him a computer.
I bought my girlfriend a brand new Apple for Christmas. I wouldn't even know how to put it on.
Just go
Easy,
get an
push the
iPad.
button.
Get an iPad, Joe.
What's an iPad? Can you do the podcast over an iPad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I should get it since I got a lifetime job.
I got a laptop computer, but you can get the iPad, which they're nice size.
Yeah.
And you can go right on there, and you could get a stand that if Larry sends you the stand, so it could stand up.
I can't believe he can't see
Larry
that picture.
sent me to the witness stand.
Yeah, the witness stand.
He just sent it to me.
Okay, Mike, thanks for that picture.
But Larry, how come I got the picture from High Snyder and the other stuff you put up? How come I didn't see this one? I see the other ones.
Do you see anything? You see the basketball players?
No. What basketball players?
What kind of
How could you not see it?
Oh, maybe because it's not. Maybe I don't know, Joe.
No, everybody else sees it. You see it, right, Eddie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on an iPhone. The same one I'm always on.
Maybe because I don't have it. In the other file because we put this
Doesn't
one.
matter if I see it and Eddie sees it and you see it. He should see it.
I see it.
That's definitely me sitting right there. It says "Sea Missile Amok." I can't read what it says there. Okay, well, thanks, Mike, and let's get rid of that picture. Okay,
You see that picture, Joe?
I should put it on my TV and see if I see it.
Yeah, you probably could.
all right.
Better off on your TV.
Well, I just got rid of the picture. I don't even know how to get the picture.
HDMI 2.
I'd have to send it to you again.
All right, let's see. Let's see
I'll
now.
tell you when I got the TV on.
Okay. All right, I think we got them. I think I got them all.
Mute.
There was only 3, Larry, you had.
Hi, Larry. You know, smoking. Yeah, I got that. We got that. We got that. That's Joe's owner. That was Laura. Okay. Oh, you know what I wanted to see? I wish I would have found this. I wish I would have found this when Joe Rico was on. Didn't Joe Rico? Joe Rico said he was going down to
Myrtle Beach.
this week, right? So he couldn't come on. I was wishing he was on because we're trying to find dirt on Joe Rico because
Did you
he's
find
like,
anything?
yeah. Here's what I found. Here's what I found. 2 things. You see, that's Joe Rico, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
look where he's looking at the tote board, right?
The tote board, yeah.
That's a dead giveaway. Looking at the tote board. And not only that, but here's the winner's circle picture. You know
He's
who
still
that
looking
is
at it.
next to him?
Now he's counting his money.
You know who that is standing next to him? That's Bruce Munn, the race secretary at Monticello.
Oh, Bruce Munn. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
geez.
Bruce Munn. So now you got him looking at the tote board, and you got the race secretary who lines up all these races and puts them all together in the
We're
winner's
both of them
circle
looking.
with Joe Rico.
They're both looking at the tote board now.
Yeah, we gotta start an investigation here.
Yeah, I would call it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay,
Call him in.
that's Joe Rico. There he is. Okay. All right, now. Here's another thing I want to say. I got a letter. Geez, I should have put this
Hey,
up.
Joe, Mike just text you the picture.
Oh, okay. But I can't. All right,
Can't
I'll
look
get
at it now.
Thank you.
All right, I should have put this up, and I forgot all about it. But one of our friends, Francis, the one that's on.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see if she's. See if she's on here.
I don't think so.
Francis. Well, she
No,
sent
she's
me.
not on tonight.
She's not on.
No, I don't see her.
Okay. She sent me a and the reason I'm going to do this is because every time I say this, everybody thinks I'm crazy. I'm nuts. So
I agree.
because I never explained it right because I forget. So I wrote everything that I wanted to say down and I found it. But here's what brought me to do this because I finally got somebody that agreed with me. And here's what Francis says. Hi, Larry. Thinking of you, champ. I love your show. You're so right about the participation. Kids being our future need to experience the racetrack. It truly is the sport of kings. Without inspiring these little ones, how will the sport possibly continue? Gamblers are all over the world 24/7. Competition is fierce. World keeps going faster and faster, makes your head spin. I truly appreciate your knowledge, wisdom, compassion. So admirable. Champ, much love, Fran, however you say her name. Okay. So now she finally agreed with me. So now I got this book out again, this book right here. And I talked about this book before. This book is over 450 pages when the experts speak. It tells about, in 450 pages, it tells you about all the geniuses in the world that made comments that the complete opposite happened. And in the back of the book, it has a couple of them, and I'll just read 2 or 3. And here's one of them. The president of Digital Equipment Corporation. He said there is no reason for any individual to have a computer in their home. Now that's the president of the digital, and it's completely wrong.
That's why I don't have it.
Yeah, okay. Now the top executive at Decca Records says we don't like their sound. Groups of guitars are on their way out. he was talking about the Beatles. Okay, then Louis B. Mayer says, forget it. No Civil War pictures ever made a nickel. He was talking about Gone with the Wind, and and then the guy in Business Week, the head writer of Business Week, writes, with over 50 foreign cars already on sale here, the Japanese auto industry isn't likely to carve out a big share of market for itself. I mean, in all the 450 pages are the same thing. So why can't my idea, at least somebody give it a shot, when all the so-called geniuses say it won't work? And yet whatever they've been doing for the last 20, 30 years trying to get more people in the grandstand, you got to remember that from 20, 30,000 people a night down to maybe 40, 50, 60. In Monticello, even in the summer months, maybe 100. It's just unbelievable. So anyway, here's and I never explained it right, but I'm gonna read what I was thinking, and I wrote it down, so I have to read it. The people who attend harness racing, harness horse tracks in the United States are generally older and predominantly male, age 40 and over. That means 91% of track goers are in this age group. Now just think of that. 91% of the people that go to the track, both men and women, are 40 years old and older. 91%. So you don't have to be a genius to realize you have to start attracting younger customers. But there's a couple of problems. They waited too long, and the young kids today show absolutely no interest in harness racing. The decline in attendance and mutual handle started in the 80s with the rise of casinos, online gambling, and lotteries and all of that stuff. It took decades before political appointees that were put into positions of total incompetence realized this. What followed was 8 years up to today of promotions and giveaways that didn't and don't work. So once again, here's my suggestion.
Underneath it.
Customer engagement is critical as a successful business strategy, and can deeply impact businesses' long-term success. When customers actively participate, it can lead to loyalty and ultimately drive growth. Today, a large and growing number of companies are actively using customer participation as a marketing tool. Many businesses recognizing the value engaging customers beyond simply selling them products or services. They're all actively seeking ways to involve them in their brand experience. And it's become clear that customer participation not only works, but is a powerful and cost-effective marketing tool that cannot and should not be an afterthought. And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
But Larry, how would you get the kids to participate? Let's say you get 100 kids that came. There's only going to be 2 races a night, you said. So what about the other 98 kids?
Well,
How do you guarantee them action?
Let me finish, and then I'll answer that question. But let me finish.
You were finished. Sorry, there, Captain.
I'm on a roll here.
I didn't know that. You're on a roller.
Ask me that question right after I'm done. Marketing should focus on generating excitement and the thrill of the ride by emphasizing a memorable experience, the breathtaking excitement, adrenaline rush, and fun for the riders that the riders will experience. By using platforms like Google, social media, TikTok, video, this can easily be achieved and create a big buzz around opening day. Now, here's my concept. Every night, 2 races, preferably the 5th and the last race, will be assigned to feature customer engagement. All patrons between the ages of 18 and 40 will be given a raffle ticket. All ticket stubs will be placed in a container, and 8 stubs for each race will be drawn manually. Each selected winner will sign a disclaimer, be fit with a safety vest, helmet, and jacket, and will accompany a driver in an assigned race. The 2 designated races will use jar carts fitted with 2 bucket seats and a safety rail. After the race, each participant will be given a film of the race and 5% of whatever purse is earned. Now, naturally, everything I just said can be modified, it could be changed, it can be moved around. Now, to answer your question about if 1,000 kids show up and only 8, that's the luck of the draw. But at least you got them there. And then I'll put it to you this way: if you had and I said this before, if you had a roller coaster in the middle of nowhere and said free rides, everybody'd go there. You can only fit a certain amount on. There's going to be a lot of kids that walk away disappointed. But every week, a certain amount will show up, and little by little, and I just read that the trainer, the thoroughbred guy that you just said that died.
Oh yeah, yeah, Dwayne Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas. Whenever he won a race, he'd look around and see a kid, and he'd bring the kid into the winning circle.
It was on Facebook.
A lot of them kids, just because he brought a kid into the winner circle, a lot of them parents bought horses. A lot of them got involved, and that's my idea. And why wouldn't you do it? Nothing else works. Nothing else did work. Nothing else is going to work. So why not just give this a shot? And if you're only going to pick, say 16 or 20 out of the hundreds that are going to show up, they'll come back. They'll come back. They'll keep coming back. And that's all I have to say.
The only thing with that, though, Larry, they're not going to be able to bet on that horse that's in the jock cart with the driver and the.
No, maybe the father will bet on the horse. Who knows? But
how are you going to bet on the horse if he's in a jock cart? Everybody's on modified bikes, and you got 2 people on the jock cart.
Yeah, but they didn't go there alone. They went there with their friends.
No, I understand that. But if somebody who would bet on that horse that's in a jock cart with 2 people in it against these modified bikes with these other horses? Every shot would that horse have?
Every horse in that race is going to have the same. Is going to be hooked to a jar cart with a.
So they're all going to be jar carts.
They're all going to be jar. Yeah, every horse in that race.
It'll be 10 kids will be able to. Or
10 on a mile track, 8 on a half-mile track. They'll all be them 2 races, and if it catches on and everything else, make it 3 races, make it 4 races, make it races be 2 or 3 before the opening the first race, and then 2 or 3 after. I don't know, but everybody just completely dismisses that idea of participation. You can structure it however you want, but get the kids to the racetrack.
Well, I would do it different. I wouldn't do it drawing out of a hat. What I would do is get a list and make the kids put their names on the list, and that night they'd definitely be involved. So even if they come the first week and 16th on a list, they can watch the first week. The second week, they're guaranteed. And the next week, you got another guaranteed bunch.
Yeah.
This way, they got something to look forward to.
That's a good idea.
By draw, a guy might get lucky and go on 3 weeks in a row, and the other kid doesn't get the same card.
You're right.
You're going on before then.
Yeah, you should be a list.
Yeah.
And that's how it spreads around. You get on the list, and if it works, it works.
Right.
But you have to have a guarantee to them. You have to have a guarantee to the kids.
That guy Eddie, that from Florida, that can't get the comments. Your friend, he says he wanted me to mention that. Why can't the track with the casinos have a deal with the state where if you bet a horse and you lose, that you can cash that ticket in where you could play a slot. So this way, if you lose on betting the horse, you still have a shot to win on the slots.
All I'm saying is that if the racetracks, and I personally think harness racing is doomed. I really do. I think it's all except for maybe in Kentucky and around that area, but all as far as New Jersey goes, Delaware and New York, I think within the next 2 years, it's all going to be done. Because they do nothing to try to help themselves. And this thing would why not try it? I just don't get it. I went to the Meadowlands once when Freddie Hudson had his book signing, and they were the FanDuel room, the gambling room, the sports betting room. You couldn't even get in there, and there was nobody betting on horses. It was unbelievable. You see what happened to Joe just said? See that?
All right, I'm guilty.
You need one of these.
All
You
right.
got me.
Okay. Now, Eddie, before we go to the questions, you sent me this. You sent me this. Now we can't see it.
Oh,
We
I can
can't,
see that.
yeah, you can see it, but you can't read it. It's just too small. I have it printed out here, but it tells of and Eddie, if you have it printed out.
No, I don't. Matter of fact, you know where I got that from, and you wouldn't believe it, from Joe Feraldo.
Yeah, Joe Feraldo put it on Facebook. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's unbelievable the amount of
The
takeout.
percentage that they take out is disgusting.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I got it blown up in my email.
It comes to over $80 million a year that they take in fees from the racetracks that they're at.
Going to the
Unbelievable.
Look at this. Look, even Kentucky Downs, that's a standardbred race, right? Track, isn't it?
Well, it can't be because Heiser is not with the standardbred.
Yeah,
Where do they have the Red Mile?
Kentucky.
You're talking about Miami Downs, Eddie?
No,
No,
in
Kentucky.
Oh, in Kentucky.
All right, at Oaklawn, they take out $613 per start per horse. Unbelievable. At the end of the meet, they took out over $3 million.
So Kentucky Downs is 1,800 to start.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Unbelievable.
1,800 to start for Kentucky Downs. Finger Lakes is 1,087.
Eddie, you're talking about the Red Mile in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah, the Red Mile. Yeah.
Unbelievable. I don't know. I know that there's 2 or 3
Robbery.
major lawsuits.
And what does Freddie Hudson say about that?
I got to stay kind of neutral when I talk with him because he's on their side. He goes by there's statistics out there and there's information out there that since Heiser came on the scene that there's a lot less horses dying. There's a lot. Everything is positive. I mean, it become a nightmare for the veterinarians. It become a nightmare for the horses themselves, even though that's tough, and the trainers. But that's tough to say about the horses because the horses are not dying as often as they were before. So I don't know. I stopped really looking into it when I knew that Freddie Hudson's trying to get him to come to harness racing with a lot of changes made.
The reason why the horses ain't dying is because they got all the bandits that used enhancement drugs. I mean, come on, Bob Baffert, 73 heart attacks. They got horses die. 73. What did they get a heart attack? What did they do? Natural death?
Between the top 20 trainers in thoroughbred racing.
You reading the book? You reading that book? Death of Thoroughbred? Whatever that.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Epstein was a suicide.
Yeah.
I have it. And when you hear
and see
what they say, everything is blamed on the groom pissing in the stall who ate a hamburger before.
Right.
With
Yeah.
Right.
there's a million different excuses.
Who wipe their ass with the straw? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Yeah,
Use
and
no spray and it's sprayed all over the store.
You know,
But-
they cover up so much. It's pathetic, and I'm telling you, you haven't been on the track or on the scenes to see what goes on. Come on, there's breakdowns every day. Yes, okay, the broken sesamoids, cannon bones, this, that, this. Now they do not allow you to euthanize a horse on the track no more. So, if a
Why
horse-
not? Well, that's another asinine rule.
Yes.
You got to let a horse that's like ruffian. The leg is just dangling by the skin.
Yeah.
You're going to let that poor horse. You're going to let
No,
that
you
poor
can't.
horse hop onto the trailer, and drive the trailer into the back. Why don't you just do what they always did? Just cover the whole thing up and get and get the horse out of its pain immediately.
Of course.
Now they don't administrate any kind of painkiller, nothing. They try to get the horse on the ambulance van to bring it over to the.
That's
the-
abuse.
That's terrible. That's really
That's
abuse.
abuse.
Now the other day, a horse broke his cannon bone, and the jockey went flying. He was bleeding from the mouth. And know what the Heisen vet says? What's the horse's name? Wasn't worry about the guy who broke his face. Yeah. They threw him on the truck. Didn't euthanize him. They took him across the street because they will not euthanize any horses on the track because you can sue NYRA. You can sue the hospital.
It's ridiculous.
Well, a lot of fucked up rules, boy. I'll tell you.
No kidding.
Oh, there's more as they go. There's more rules than you shake a stick out. It's getting to where like you're talking about it's not a level playing field. Jesus, it's tough. It's tough to keep a horse sound, you know.
Well, I tell you, everybody should buy this book. This is the book that I told Anthony to buy. This is the book that I sent away, and they sent me the CD, so I don't have to read it because it's I think it's over 300 pages, but I got halfway through it already listening to the CDs, and it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. The information that she found out, and she dug deep, and it's really, really, really sickening. And when you get done with this, everybody should read this book. And anyway, should get it.
Now Navarro got released, right? He was sentenced to 5 years, and he got released three years and I don't know something months, but he had to report to ICE in Panama.
He's getting deported, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, I think he started in the business probably in the late '80s, and after 2 or 3 years, he was winning. He was winning. I think his first year or second year, he won 1 or 2 races, and within 2 years after that, he was winning at a 35-40% rate and winning. Was one of the top trainers in wins in the country. Now that's just what I said 2 podcasts ago with Del Bickham, guys who never won races before. All of a sudden, they're leading, and I could name probably 10 guys in the same position in both standardbreds and in thoroughbreds that were 10-15% trainers. All of a sudden, become 35-40% trainers in the win column, and then all of a sudden you don't hear from them no more. I remember in the 80s they start freezing samples and they were riding high, and then all of a sudden they had come up with new tests or different ways of testing, and that's another thing that's fucked up. How could every state have different tests for different drugs? Every state tests for different drugs, and And if you don't know what you're testing for, you're never going to find it, even though it could be something, even like Banamine. If you're not testing for Banamine, you're not going to find it. So it's just so screwed up, and it's amazing to me that they don't have a uniform medical just a uniform rule. Latex, no latex. You can use this. That. Just have it uniform. But
That
they
should
don't.
definitely be.
Yeah, but they don't.
Roller tracks, yeah. Same thing.
All right, let's go down to. We'll go down to the. Oh, here's a picture I found. See this picture? You know who that is standing all the way in there with the tan suit on, the white. That's Catello Manzi all the way back. See him?
Yeah, top right. Steve
Yeah,
Manzi below him.
Steve Manzi's below him. Then that's
Tom
John Manzi.
you.
That's John Manzi in the purple suit or blue suit, whatever that is.
Larry Rolla
white.
team.
And that's me sitting there in the front.
What, Aura?
But that's Aura. Yeah, that's Aura.
Yeah. Now, who's the guy next to you?
Steve Manzi.
That's
Who?
That's Catello's
Steve
brother.
Manzi.
Steve Manzi.
Yeah,
Steve.
I hear you. The one next to you, the one behind, up on top.
That's
That's
John
Catello.
Manzi.
That's who?
Oh, that's John above him.
The guy
Yeah.
with the purple suit.
Standing up in the purple suit is John Manzi.
And
guy
that's
who took
Steve
Alan
Manzi.
And sitting
Right.
down is Steve Manzi.
Okay, that's I didn't know who the hell he is.
All right? That's me and my dog.
Yeah.
Me and you and a dog named Boo.
And that's the head of HISA, Lisa.
Yeah.
Well, would I like to talk to her?
$500 million, 500,000 a year, Van Gogh.
Okay, let's go down the list here, see if we have any questions for this. We have a wealth of information here. Okay, let's go. Hello, Larry, Anthony, Eddie, and Joe. Hello,
Hello, Angelique.
Hello.
Angelique. Okay. Jeffrey B., another show should be a good one. Another show should be a good one. Oh, you know who we have to look for? We have to look for our friend from Florida, Eddie.
He's not on here. I tried getting him on. I told him what to do, but I don't know. He
All right, well, maybe he'll figure it out.
wants me to do it. Yeah.
Angelique, hello, Jeffrey.
Who's Jeffrey?
They talk amongst themselves.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That's the love triangle.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Hi, Bill.
What's up, Bill?
Okay, hello, Dominic. Here she is now. Dominic, tell Dominic Angelique I said hello. Hello, Bill.
Bill.
Hi, yeah, they go back and forth. Eddie is back. God bless, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Eddie, just so you know, David Arthur, Eddie is a man of very few words. He has problems. He has a lot of health problems, and you'd never know it because he's always laughing and giggling, and he never complains about it. The same thing with Joe. They have some major health problems going on, and they never ever talk about it. And I feel like a fucking asshole because the minute I got sick, I run my fucking mouth on this podcast that I had this, I had that, and everything else. And I have guys on the show that had things worse than me and never said a word. And thank God they're all right.
Everybody,
We
listen.
went through it a while back. It's new to you.
No, I'm not.
No, I mean not you. You got everything, Eddie.
And I have
14-year-old clamor.
I have mental problems. I don't say anything.
You got mental problems? Just take one of Larry's pills.
We gotta be here. We come here every Tuesday.
They don't work.
Larry, take Prevagen.
I get these pills. They cost $150.
Go to the
Well, first of all, you're not going to take them in 2 months to see a difference. It takes a long time.
Of Call
Larry.
Heiser, see if you should use them, Larry.
Prevagen.
Heiser will tell you if they're good.
Larry, Prevagen.
Well, I got to finish taking these because there's a whole, every month you got to fill out a questionnaire. Did you remember where you put your car keys? So far, I fail every question. You remember where you put your car keys? So they want to know if in 30 days from now, if I remember where I put the car keys.
He has the car keys. He can't find the car, though.
Should have saw what I did the other day. I had to go someplace. I put the navigation on the phone, and I have a magnet on the back of the phone here, and it goes. So I put the navigation and I put the magnet on the dashboard, and I put the phone there, and I get out of the car, and for a whole day I couldn't. I get back in the house about an hour later. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? I thought I lost my phone. And in the meantime, it was in the car. I was on my way to the Verizon store to buy another phone, and I saw the phone.
It always comes up.
Larry, it's misplacement. Don't worry about it.
It happens to the best.
That's
I
what
like when I'm on my phone and I'm looking for it.
Yeah. I'll give you the name of the pills I got. Oh, first see if they work. Okay, John Campbell once fixed a flat tire for me. Dave Titty Bar. Man, I don't know. Well, good for you if he did. John Campbell once fixed a flat tire for me. I'll tell you, he's the kind of guy that would do it. Hey, let me tell you something. All of these, I've been in paddocks all over the country and met hundreds of horsemen, hundreds of drivers and trainers. 99 and 9/10 of them, there was one or two scumbags in that whole United States. They're all good guys and all willing to help you. Every single one of them.
Like
one or two of them are real jerk-offs, but most of them were good guys. So when Dave says John Campbell once helped me fix a flat tire, I believe it, and that's the kind of guy he was. Okay, Eric, I was shocked to learn the first Kentucky Derby had 13 black jockeys. What happened since now there are very few? I can't answer that. I don't know.
Because these Spanish kids, they're just naturally small. You know, they're just they make, it's how they're born. They're just small people.
Guys like Joe Bravo, whose natural weight is like 105 pounds. What an edge they have over a lot of the jockeys that have to lose 5-10 pounds every morning. He can't eat around 500 calories a day for 20 years, and what an edge he had. He could do anything, eat anything, do anything, and he stayed 105 pounds. Okay. He was my neighbor in New Jersey. He fixed my riding lawnmower. Great guy. Yeah. That's the same. Yeah. That's the same guy, Dave Tittybar. He was my neighbor in New Jersey. He fixed my riding lawnmower. Yep. Talent, guts, finesse, and skill. That was John Campbell when he was around the grill. That man can cook. Yeah, he could do anything. I tell you, I seen him. I told you, I mentioned this once before. My locker at the Meadowlands was right next to his. And he come in there many times with these metal steel braces on his knees. He's an unbelievable, gutsy guy. And you never know it by looking at him. But he's the kind of guy that if he was ever in the Army, he's the kind of guy that would get all the Purple Hearts and everything and dive on grenades. Well, all of them guys are like that.
Yeah.
All of them, just fearless. They're all the same way. And he got, look at this. He talent, guts, finesse, and skill. That's my thing. Yeah, very good. Sundance. Hey, Sundance, listen. I know you're watching because I just opened up your comment. On the 17th, on the 17th of July, I have to be in Los Angeles. And I'm going to need you to come here. I'm going to probably leave on the 16th. I'm going to leave here on the 16th, and I'll be back. And I think that's on a Wednesday. So I'll be gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'll be back probably Sunday unless more contracts have to be signed or whatever. And I should have all my business taken care of by then. This is pertaining to the movie and the TV series, and that's the holdup now. Should it be a TV series or a movie? So I'm going out there to talk about. I'm talking with the people in charge of what movies are going to be made and what TV series are going to be bought.
You driving?
No,
About time. Good.
I'm going to fly. So that's a tough trip. That's a tough trip.
Yeah, especially in the snow.
Yeah, and sick.
Nut job.
Being sick.
Okay, so anyway, Sundance, keep that week open. The from the 16th until 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th till that Saturday. So from Wednesday to Saturday, keep that open. Don't forget.
Nice way to ask her over the air.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sundance, for your concern for
Thank
help.
you so much, Sundance, for your kindness. Just make sure you show up.
She said, I hope Eddie's feeling better. So I'm thankful.
Oh, Dominic, your brother is listening. Dominic,
Oh, there he is.
hi, Sundance.
Go get a job, Dominic.
Does Dominic work, Anthony, or is he retired?
No, he works part-time at Walmart.
I thought he was squashing grapes for you.
Yeah, he works like in the security department there. He arrests people.
Oh, he's security.
Yeah, like that.
Subscribe, ring the bell, and
Oh, yeah. You guys got to
Mike.
ring the bell. You got to hit like.
Subscribe, and ring the bell.
Yeah, hit like and subscribe and ring the bell. I don't think you can do it on the phone. You have to be. They got to be watching from a computer, I think.
No,
right?
you can do it on your phone.
You do it on your phone.
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
You could do it on TV too.
no, you can't. I don't think you could. Maybe you could.
I subscribe on the TV.
All right. Well, anyway, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. We don't need no money, but just hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell.
Speak for yourself.
We just do this for fun.
Send all the money you want.
Yeah, I'll take change.
I don't know what I did.
What'd you do again? You and that phone.
I hit something to get the texts, because you said I could get them. And now I only have a little
We
phone.
got to get him. Eddie? What were you saying? Get a
iPad.
What does the iPad have a camera in it and everything?
Everything.
You sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there he
You
is.
could see me the same as before?
No,
Yeah.
better.
Better now.
See, you
Better
better.
now.
Now you see, we see half your hand, so half the
Yeah,
picture is.
I'm holding the phone over here.
Yeah, because if you gave Anthony your address, you would have that
Well,
thing.
you got my address now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect then.
That's
Beautiful.
perfect.
Yeah, that's better.
Wow, center of attraction.
If it falls in a second, I don't want to laugh. It's
Don't
shaking.
sneeze.
If I laugh, it shakes.
Oh my God.
All right.
You got to get him at least get him that Anthony. You're gonna have his address. Just mail that
Yeah,
to him.
yeah. As soon as I get
Right.
his stuff, I'll have his address. I'll mail it to him.
Jeffrey B says, "Good evening, everyone. Big crowds at Yonkers this past Friday night." Good. Okay, Eric. How great was Carmen Abatello? My dad said he was awesome.
The red
Yeah,
man.
he was. He
Well,
was a good guy too.
Yep.
I heard that he's not doing well health wise.
Yeah, he's
I
in
heard he is.
he's doing okay. He's in a facility. Eric, I talk to once in a while, when he has time.
I heard that he was not doing well at all.
His mother is she's the one that's not doing too well.
I should call up Eric and ask. Oh well.
The red man, he wins some races for me, boy. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
With more
Why don't
money.
you call up Eric? You like to talk on the phone.
Who?
Eddie.
I like to talk on the phone.
Yeah, you talk to everybody. Everybody you talk to. You talk to
Because I try to get him on the damn show for you. What do you think? I'm
he ain't gonna come on the show.
no. That's why I call up people is to talk on the phone to get them on
Well,
the podcast.
call him up. You have his number. Last time I called him, it was terrible because I called him up. This was 3 years. This was just before COVID. And I said, listen, I'm going to bring that actor. I had Pileggi, Richard Price, and Eddie Burns, the actor Eddie Burns.
Oh, he's great.
They were going to be the three writers for my show, for my TV series or movie. And I called up Eric and I said, listen, I'm going to come to the barn on one day, Monday or Tuesday. I says, can you do me a favor? Have one horse, a kind horse, not a lunatic horse. One horse that's easy to handle. Leave him for last. Leave him. I'll be there right around 11, 12 o'clock when all the track is empty and everybody's done with their work. And I'm going to bring Eddie Burns down. I want to put him in a jog cart, let him jog around, show him everything, and have your father have Carmine there. And he said everything. Everything was all set up. And then we found out that COVID was. Anyway, we wind up not going. But I owe Eric a thank you for that. Even though we never showed up, but we never went. I think I called him and let him know that we were not coming. But he did set everything up. Okay, Sundance. Hit the like button, ring the bell. Sundance, don't forget what I told you.
Oh boy.
Sundance, Jeffrey B. That's great to hear. All right, Eric, what's wrong with
how old is Sundance?
She's probably maybe in the 60s, I guess.
In the 60s.
Sundance, how old are you? Just write it in the thing. We'll find it.
Ask her if
You
she
don't
knew
ask
me.
a woman her age.
And in fact, in the comments, you could also put down, because we'll get to it. If you heard what I said about being at my house.
I don't know if this is the same Trish that I knew.
Well, she got around. She knew everybody, and her husband was the photographer at the Meadowlands, I think. I forgot his name. But
Sundance, were you good friends with Donna Zapponi?
all right, we'll find your answer down the. Eric, what's wrong with harness racing? I have 2 FanDuel channels and 3 other racing channels, and none showed any harness. And today at Oak Grove, all races 40,000 and a few 150,000. Feels like no one cares. I don't know. I'm out of the game. I don't know. All I know is that it's in a lot of trouble. Tommy Dimes, ask Renee Pullen again to come on the podcast.
He was never on.
I asked him twice already, and he just won't come on. He was all ready to come on one time, in the last second he just he just changed his mind. But he's a great guy. Did a hell of a job with the kids after his wife died, and a good friend. Just a good guy.
Rene was a good driver, man.
When bad things happen to good people. Okay. Hello, Tommy. Eric, Joe, was gambling a major factor in your divorce or the factor? What's that mean?
Which divorce?
You were married twice?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Wow.
My shirts and my marriages have something in common. They're both two X's.
Very
Yeah, I was divorced twice. Was
Was
gambling a major factor in my first divorce? Was a high school marriage. Was gambling a factor? Not really. I just wasn't ready to be married. My second one definitely not. No, gambling was not a factor.
Okay. Sundance, Larry.
Anthony, you better wear some deodorant.
Larry, tell them about here's Sundance again. Tell them about the tack boxes that you would go nuts if they weren't clean. You called it hyper hemp spider boxes and tipped them over. Dominic might remember.
Yeah,
I think Dominic does remember because I think Dominic once says that I turned them all over except for his. So I don't know. But in the meantime, Sundance, you asked a million questions, but you never answered ours.
That's because, Larry, these are all before you said that.
Oh,
These are a while ago.
okay.
That one was at 8:27, at 8:30, almost an hour ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my email from a month ago today. Guys probably say, "What kind of guy is Joe?" It's been a month and a half.
Okay. John Lauro says, a very happy Tuesday to Wise Guys of Harness Racing. Did you guys ever deal with Howard Parker? Well, there were a bunch of Howard Parkers. There was a senior, there was a junior. Howard Parker. Wasn't he the kid that really got screwed up bad in the race? Was that him, Howard?
No, that was Jack
Yeah.
Parker.
Jack Parker.
Howard Parker was the driver too.
He got a concussion.
Concussion. He was in a
Jack
coma
Parker,
for
the
a
kid.
year.
Jack Parker, the kid. He was in bad shape for a lot of years, and I remember years after that wreck he got in, I saw him at the barn area. He could just about walk, and it was terrible to see that. And now he's driving and everything and doing well. Unbelievable what that kid went through.
Yeah.
So Howard Parker, I guess I'm sure I know him. I can't tell the difference between
He rode at Meadowlands a lot, Howard Parker.
Howard Parker. Don't remember. Sundance, Sunday at Woodbine, 11:30 a.m. They announced that Woodbine, due to the heat races, would delay till 4 p.m. Hardly anyone waited around. Eric, I called a friend today to wish him a happy birthday. He said they canceled the races because of the heat. Sundance, incorrect. They should have canceled, but they started instead at 4. Worst run racetrack I've ever been to.
All right.
Sundance, Eric, I'm not sure if it was in Florida or Yonkers, but yes, he said they were canceled tonight. They never did that when I was working with them. Sundance delayed till 4 o'clock. Okay. What episode was Renee Pullen on? Renee Pullen he never came on, but I did a podcast and I told the story about Renee. It was It's an unbelievable story. I'm almost positive I told the story.
Yeah, you did. You did a whole
You did.
podcast on him.
I did.
Yeah, his name is right on the podcast.
It was a real good story. If you go to my website, LarryRolla.com, you'll see my web page and just hit podcasts. And just all the podcasts are on. There's 140 podcasts on there. Just start from the beginning, and each one
It's podcast 28.
is podcast 28.
Podcast 28,
How do you find that out so fast?
because I do. It's who I am.
That's what I do. Okay, so podcast 28, Robert. That's I tell the story. I really couldn't get into it more than what I told because I said that I wouldn't. But Renee went through a tough time after his wife died, and he got. Anyway, watch the podcast. Number 28.
Number 28.
All right, number 28. Okay, David Arthur, 91%, 40 and older. That's a fact. Tell Michael that. That is a fact, David. That over 90% of the people that go to harness tracks are over 40 years old. And probably 60 to 70% are over 60 years old. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they don't want to do nothing. They think giving away free beers is going to. Anyway, dollar beers ain't the answer. I just said that. Very good. Dave Arthur, you're right. Eric, tracks don't want the liability in case some kid gets hurt in the bike. Not worth the risk. Well, I don't. I it's just like a prenup, I guess. These ways to make it that they got to sign disclaimers. That I'm sure there's a way to write it. I mean, I don't know.
And of course, there'd have to be a minimal age too. I mean, you can't have them too young.
Well, 21 and older, 18
21
and older, whatever the
Oh.
age. I don't know. All I'm saying is that's my idea. And
Can't
then,
be 21 and over. That's like, it has to be like 14.
No, they need a parent consent.
Yeah, well, of course. You said kids.
Yeah. Yeah, then they got to be called liability insurance, workman's comp, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it's a lot involved.
Yeah.
how come they not a lot involved when you go on roller coasters or Ferris wheels?
Because they're insured for it.
So,
So
The
there's
racetrack-
a lot involved.
when that poor kid got hurt and he sued the racetrack, they paid. Anyway, do you guys know Chris? How do you say that name?
Bruce Munsell?
Rasmus.
He does harness racing. I don't know. I don't know.
Where the hell is he ride?
Eric, you're 100% correct. You can sign all the waivers they want. If someone gets hurt on a bike in a race, the lawyers will be all over it. So, okay, so they once again they knocked down my idea, but it don't matter anyway. Okay, Sundance says, "Hi Rick, Simon, how's your mom?" That's right.
Yeah,
Rick-
what
Oh
happened
yeah,
with that?
Rick. I didn't see him last week.
Yeah, he was the one I sent that information to, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. He was the one. We had him on the podcast, didn't we?
yeah,
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
put his mother on. Yeah. Rick, if is he
I
on?
don't see him.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
see him
here.
on here, though.
He's here. Rick Simon. Hi, Angelique. So he's on here. So Sundance says, "How's your mom?" Well,
Oh,
here's
here he is. Okay.
she is tired. Last couple of days resting. We have doctor's visits. 7:10. 7-10.
July 10th.
Even if Larry's idea brought people into the stands, it wouldn't help the handle. You're probably right. Eric, David, amen. Woodbine doesn't even allow kids with parents on dark days because they don't want to hire security. Big liability for racetracks. Eddie, did you paint the place? Looks like you painted. Looks nice. Eddie,
Me?
that's
You paint your house?
Yeah.
Eddie?
Yeah.
Wow, they notice everything. I better shave next week.
Rick, you're a good eye, man.
David. What does Heisa do with all that money?
Live large.
I think they have. I think Eddie, you said that the head of. I think there's 70 to 80 people involved in Heisa altogether.
You had the structure, the payroll structure. That
Yeah, I
was
do, but it's in a 4-inch pile over here, and I'll never find it. See back here? That's where it
Yeah.
is, buried somewhere in there. They get paid. I think the head girl, Lisa, gets $500,000 a year, don't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, they get a lot of money. They make a lot of money.
And
I
they
think
don't know how to spell
I
horse.
think that's what Eddie. I think that's what Freddie wants to do. I think Freddie wants to work with them and get them into harness racing and make some adjustments for harness racing.
That'd be the worst thing ever happened.
That'll sink the ship.
That'd really sink the ship. That'd be 14 holes in it. It's not like those thoroughbreds, man. You know that, Larry. The structure of a thoroughbred compared to a standardbred. They need a lot of care, standardbreds, a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of ice, a lot of painting, a lot of blistering, a lot of everything. They can't. You ever see them? I had a horse called Drive Me Crazy at the Trotters. That horse had 2 drops dispensaries behind and 2 both tendons up front. Keep that son of a bitch down. Yeah, let Heisa come in. The horse will be dead. Get out of here.
Sheldon G writes, D. Wayne Lucas did not die. He is very, very ill, but as of 8:45 p.m., he is still alive. Former DJ who worked with his cousin Brucey.
With cousin Brucey.
Cousin Brucey.
Cousin Brucey. Cousin.
So according to Sheldon, D. Wayne Lucas is still alive.
Well, then that's that stupid Facebook shit. They put all that stuff on there.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Okay. Larry Cox, don't put the results in. Nobody. How does Baffert have a license?
A lot of money.
He had a couple of owners that were in the racing commission and the politicians. I'll tell you, it's all in that book.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. Why do all your guest names end in vowels? The vowel. A-E-I-O-U. Anthony,
Wow.
Clyde B wants to know why all my guests' names end in the vowel.
Because we're all Italians.
Well, O'Donnell was a guest.
Yeah.
O'Donnell was a guest. Who else? Somebody else.
Hey, that don't end in a vowel.
Right. Who else was on here? You might have a point.
Joe Rico and
A-E-I-O-U.
Marcelino.
Guarino.
Yeah.
Guarino.
Very good, Clyde B.
Hey, Larry, my brother wanted to know, he says, how do you remember everything that went on at the track in your life? him and I were trying to figure out where we were at what track.
What?
Dominic wants to know, how do you remember, what went on at the track your whole life? Like, how do you remember all those things? Him and I were talking about, like, when we were in Brandywine, we were getting confused what track we were at and who it was with. And
When they convinced me to write the book, I called up probably 100 people that either worked for me or friends, and I said, well, naturally, some things I remember. But then I called up, and and they all tell me stories and stories and stories, and that's how I was able to put a lot of it together. That, and sometimes there's blanks where I just fill in the blanks. I may get the year wrong or the track wrong, but who the hell could remember what I did in 1962 or 65 or 70 or But I know there was 2 or 3 years when I was racing at all these Mickey Mouse racetracks. I remember exactly the first time I ate a pigeon, and I remember how that happened. There's certain things I just remember. I remember Green Mountain Park. I remember a lot of the smaller racetracks, but a lot of people helped me, and there's a lot of stories that are not in the book that I have, and so I don't know. I don't remember certain things. I remember perfect. I remember, like Sundance always says, I remember turning over the trunks because if I bought every piece of equipment and grooming supplies that you would need for each horse, and I put it in the trunk. And I just wanted the trunk 7 inches from the back wall, and I had a 2x4. And every day I'd go down the whole thing. I had every harness bag had to be, and I have a picture. Of my barn that somebody sent me at Florida, where every bag is hanging exactly the same way. Every plaque on the wall was the same. The trunks were exactly the same. And when you opened up each trunk, every brush and curry comb and everything had to be right there. And when it wasn't, I turned the trunk over.
You're worse than Heisa.
When I used to come into the gates of Monticello and you were on that first barn, man, it looked so plush with your purple and gold, and everything was all uniform. Everything was nice. You had a good, nice look. And in Pompano, forget about it. You had Bernard Harrowing.
Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah.
I remember. I bought a golf cart and built a little screen behind it.
Yeah.
And after we were all done, he would go up and down with the golf cart with the screen.
Yeah, you would harrow the track.
The screen in it, and it would be perfect. Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were such a fanatic, Larry.
Yeah. When I bought the barn, me and Carl LaClaus were the first ones to buy a barn at Sunshine Meadows. And I had the whole barn shed row blacktop. I had showers put in the tack rooms, and I had a system where every 15 minutes they would spray for the mosquitoes.
Yeah, the fog. Yeah.
I'd have the whole barn area up in the ceiling spray every 15 minutes so there wouldn't be no mosquitoes.
That was in West Palm?
Yeah, it was in West Palm. What do you call that?
Del Rey.
Del Rey, down past right on 441.
Yeah, West Del Rey.
Were you there with the Antonacci's?
Oh, I don't
know. Bison, you?
I think I bought the barn in 81 or 82, and by 84 I had to sell it. Pay for the lawyers. So I don't remember. But that was a hell of a training track. The bad thing is that when they first built it, I used to bring my dog. I had a big Doberman Pinscher back there. I used to bring him to the barn and he played with all the other dogs, everybody. But then there were alligators in the infield, in the water they had there. And one of the little dogs went down by the water, and that was the end of that dog. And, it was terrible. Okay, let's see what Sundan has to say. Oh, here's her husband was Greg. I can't say that.
Greg Waslook.
Yeah. Do you know him?
Yeah, very well.
All right, that was her husband.
He's a great guy, man. I really like Greg.
Was driving a filly, Susie Q. She broke her back leg. They kept her on the racetrack until they could get a hold of the owner for permission to put it down. They left her suffering. See, that's another problem you have, because if a horse is insured and the insurance company is going to do everything in their power, because one of the rules are that you have to have a veterinarian that works for the insurance company come and see the vet, come to see the horse before you put him down. So it's tough. Racing, no different than other sports. Biggest cheaters: 1, baseball, Bonds, McGuire, Sosa; 2, track and field, Ben Johnson, Merritt; 3, bodybuilding, steroids, wrestling, The Rock, and still denies. Well, I guess he's talking about steroids, right? Yeah, bodybuilding, steroids. Is that Aura? Yes, that was Aura in that picture. I think the purses are too high. Big stables are taking all the money and running. Little guys finding it tough to survive. That's always been the way. Smaller purses, the tracks would have more races, so more local horses would start up. Smaller purses. It's Larry Cox. It's tough to have smaller purses. I remember when I first started, and I might have these numbers a little wrong, but I think it was $30 to shoe a horse. Now it's close to $200. A bale of straw might have been 50 cents. Now it's like $8. And that's for cheap shit. Everything. Well, the three wire ones are probably $20.
Yeah.
And alfalfa, forget about it.
I remember $40 to $60 to shoe a horse.
And a horse today, a standardbred, probably has to make $50,000 a year just to break even for expenses. And the thoroughbred's probably a little bit more. So if you lower the purses, I don't even know how they make it now. You open up a program, you look at last year's earnings on a horse, and they say 8,000, 12,000, 11. I don't know how the hell they do that.
Yeah.
Alex, you're a good man, Larry. You're very self-reflecting. I like your show. Thanks. What's that mean? Very self-reflecting. What does that mean?
It's like
you reflect on yourself, your story.
You're like you glow in the dark.
Yeah. No, about your life. You tell about your life, about your story, about yourself.
Well, that's what this podcast was about in the beginning. It was about my life, my book. And now it's about bullshit. Now we just talk and have fun.
It's about us three idiots.
But you know what's good about it? Even like tonight, Joe's going to wind up calling this guy that was a real nice guy, a good friend of his, an owner.
You're right.
People have been in touch with me I haven't seen in 40, 50, 60 years because of this podcast. So we just come on, we have some fun. You know, sometimes we have something important to say. Sometimes it's just nonsense and bullshit. But it's fun. So and you meet a lot of people that you haven't seen. People I haven't heard from in a long time.
Very true.
That's why we do it. Okay.
I spoke to people I haven't spoken to in 40 years, 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know what, Joe? The guy from Woodbury.
Oh, yeah. Ron.
he said that when he comes back sometime in, I think he said June or maybe he said July, he wants to come on the show. He's writing stories down of trainers from back then and stables back then, his experience with them, because he shipped them all. But
Right. Yeah.
I haven't heard from him for a while.
I spoke to him. He called me the other day. We keep
Oh, he
in
did?
contact. Yeah,
Is he
very
still
nice
in
man.
Florida?
I don't. I think he's up north now.
All right. So next time you
But
say, whenever he
yeah,
wants to come on, tell him it on a Tuesday. And
yeah, I've been in touch with him. I spoke to him, and he told me he was going to come on.
There you go, Larry.
okay, Larry, I'll be there. Okay, Sundance. Okay, 4 horses in jogging carts, half mile race. Participants get share of driver's purse. 4 horses in a jog cart, half mile race. Okay, so Larry says making a half mile race, 4 horses in jog cart. They're not going to do it anyway, Larry.
No.
No betting race, non-betting race. Sundance, yes, Larry, I have.
I have an iPad. It has a camera.
Larry, I have an iPad. It has a camera.
You were asking if the iPads have cameras, and she's saying yes, she has an iPad with
So
it.
I guess it has a microphone too, right?
Not
course, yeah.
everything, Larry. It's like
Everything, yeah.
it's like a computer.
Well, I don't know what an iPad is. I'm just asking. Now,
Well,
what's the
hold on.
difference between an iPad and a computer?
Well, an iPad is just a pad. It's just like a computer screen. That's it.
You
It's
can't.
the size.
Well, how does Joe get on this podcast with an
He goes
iPad?
on YouTube and he goes on it.
Right now, I'm on an iPhone.
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 No, you're on a U phone.
Now, what's the difference in price between an iPad and a computer?
It varies. You can get a laptop, just say for $400, but you can get an iPad for maybe a little less, up to over $1,000. So
Yeah.
it depends on the computer.
So if the prices
or
are
the
almost
iPad.
the same, why wouldn't you just get a computer? I
You can
don't.
get a fairly inexpensive laptop just to do this. You don't need anything powerful to get on YouTube.
Yeah, well, I don't think Joe's going to be inventing any kind of.
No, I don't think so. Yeah,
Joe, you're going to invent
not to
Joe.
reinvent the wheel, that's for sure.
So all we have to do is get him an iPad that has a computer.
They all have it. They all have a camera and microphone.
Don't worry. Pretty soon we're going to be movie stars. Larry's going to make us all movie stars.
Right.
Well, the bad part is if Fox does it, I basically lose all control, because I have all my friends and actors in mind that would make my show very, very believable. But once a major network takes over, they pay you and they take control.
Well, send them the podcast. They'll hire the 3 of us.
No, I have 4 or 5 guys that the perfect Cabert for me would be Amon Asante. He agreed to do it, and 2 or 3 other people that have it.
He's shutting us out now. In the beginning, he told me I
That's
was
it.
perfect.
He's slowly letting us down.
You'd be perfect, Joe, for the movie. No, all right.
Yeah, now that's it.
Perfect Prime remembers.
Now he won't even give you a ticket to watch it.
All right. All right.
He won't
All
even
right.
give us 3 tickets.
Barry Cox says, when tracks have wiener dog races, people from all over come to watch. Also, when they have these elephant races and camel races and all that other bullshit, the drivers, if the drivers get hurt, it's the same as the spectator that signs some kind of disclaimer. It's the same shit. So, I'm going to tell you something. And that's why I got this book, When Experts Speak. Okay, see this book? 450 pages of geniuses that all made statements that were all bullshit and wrong. years ago, and the guy might be watching tonight. I said I want to build. This was in the 60s or 70s. I want my brother had a kid, and the kid was always crying, always crying, always crying, always crying. And they figured that it was gas or whatever babies get. So I says to my friend, I says, I want to invent the pacifier that has, when the baby has a temperature, the handle turns red. Because there were a lot of stuff coming out then where I saw something with a little piece of thin wire that acted like a thermometer, put it in and put it inside the nipple of the pacifier, attached to the handle, and it would turn red if the baby has a temperature. And my friend says, don't ever have anything to do with babies, especially something that babies have to put in their mouth. If they choke, you'll be sued and everything else. So I didn't do it. And that was all bullshit, because the biggest money makers from that point on had to do with children, stuff for babies. And today they have, well, years back, somebody did that 20 years after I wanted to do it. So if I owned, I would just say this, if I owned a racetrack, I'd have fucking races with kids doing just what I said.
Always
But
do what you think.
What?
Always do what your heart tells you to do.
Yeah, if I had a racetrack and it was dying, and I tried everything, and what other options do you have? They try. What didn't they try? They tried everything. Nothing works. So why?
Monticello had all the jockeys come and drive horses.
Yeah, they come once, and they did the same thing in Florida. You know what the jockey said? These guys are crazy for driving. They said it's
my
more dangerous.
uncle won the race in Monticello.
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow
He drove a horse that had 2 gating straps, 2 head poles. This horse rigged like crazy.
I had a thoroughbred once. I put a Pelling pacifier on him. The Pelling pacifier is a hood with full cups, but they're made of screen. And the jockey come. I can't think of the jockey's name, but I knew I was going to have a problem. And the exercise rider came, and he assured the jockey that the horse trained with it. He's okay, because they never seen anything like that. Horse won.
Yeah,
I showed a lot of these trainers down at the track a brush shadow roll. They didn't know what the hell that thing was.
Yeah.
On the 26th of June, which is Friday, I think. Katie Davis and Trevor McCarthy is having a match race at Saratoga with Beckworth's son. What's his name? Brendan. And
What are you talking about? Harness racing?
Yeah, Katie Davis and Trevor McCarthy. They're doing a race, a charity race against Beckworth's son. What's his name? Brendan Beckworth, the good driver, that good kid that's fantastic. You don't know. You were talking about getting him on the show. No.
I can tell you this: that Mike McCarthy, the leading rider at Delaware Park for 9-10 years, when he retired, I used to bring him to Sunshine Meadows. He loved to jog horses. He jogged everybody's horses. Popfinger gave him a bunch of horses to jog. He loved it.
Yeah. Well, there's a race. There's a race, a charity event with Beckworth and his wife or girlfriend, and Katie Davis and her husband Trevor.
Oh, that's nice. Sundance said a couple of weeks ago, I told everybody I was 80 and crabby. Well, I think you're probably 70 and crabby. Just show up.
You better say that after you get back.
Okay, what are your thoughts on Mark Ford? Are his days numbered? Well, I can't talk about it because I really don't know that much about it. I heard a lot of stories. Some of them are not very good. So because I don't know the whole story, I can't say. But some of the stories are not good.
Mark Ford.
Piece of
Mark,
garbage.
you guys know Mark Ford, right?
Yeah. I didn't like him at all.
I don't know.
You liked him, Joe?
No comment. I take the fifth.
Sundance, Joe G. I was married to Greg. I met you sometimes at Roosevelt with different people I worked for.
Okay. So you
Okay.
weren't friends with Donna.
Oh, she was Joe G. I was also married to Deuce, the photographer at the Meadowlands. Boy, how many times are you married? I thought you was married once. I did all the black and whites that were used for newspaper and harness horse. I did all the black and whites that were. What the hell does that mean?
All
No
the black and
color.
white pictures. She did all the black and white pictures. She must have took all the black and whites.
I thought you was talking about those cookies.
Larry, you never tipped my tack box over. All right. Well, that's because you were a good groom. You did everything. You and Dominic, Anthony's brother. Greg Wallace's mother died on Saturday. She was in her 90s. God bless her.
Oh,
Yes.
boy.
My
Sorry,
condolences, Greg.
My condolences.
Angelique, I don't know Chris.
Anthony, you keep talking about this guy Eddie in Florida. Who's this guy
Yeah.
Eddie? Who is he?
I don't know. Larry knows him. Larry, who's Eddie? What's his last name?
He was an avid racetrack guy and loved the Meadowlands. And he watches this podcast every week. And after the podcast, he calls me every week. Used to call me every week. And
He said he worked for Jack Parker before he was in the accident.
yeah, and then he told me that he finally figured out how to get on. And but he wanted to know what he had to do to make right, join in the comments section. And I put him together with Anthony, and he said he was going to be on. We're looking for him, but how could we look for him? How could we look for him if he don't know how to get on? So
Well, I told him to take a picture of I even took a picture of my screen right here and texted to him to show him what it should look like, but he never got back to me with his. So I don't know. I don't know what else to do.
I don't know, but at least I don't know. Okay,
So say Sierra Saturday at Aqueduct Race 9. Let's cash.
that's you, Eddie.
What does he want to know?
Nothing. He
He
just said
said.
Aqueduct 9th race.
Yeah, let's cash. Yeah, she got a hell of a shot, man. She was second 3 times in a row. She's going to miles, so she'll be definitely in the hunt.
Chalk.
No, she won't be chalk. No.
Oh,
Sundance says I measured everything with strings. He never tipped my box over either. Everything was measured perfectly.
you must have been some pain in the ass, Larry.
Yeah, he was.
Do you
Oh, my
think they
God.
made Yonkers? Do you think if they made Yonkers 5 8 mile track, it would increase the betting?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, I don't think it increased the betting because they already lost the people. But Yonkers should have been a 5 8 mile track a long, long time ago.
They were thinking of doing it. They decided to go a mile and a 16th then.
iPad is portable.
It's easier to carry around than a laptop.
I remember Doberman. His name was not Jen, it was Jeb. That's the
Jeb?
boy. a Jet.
Jet
Horse
Clampett?
Jet. And he was a big, over 100-pound, big red Doberman.
You named after Wildwood Jeb.
Yeah.
Big red Doberman, big red chestnut.
It was free-legged, Larry.
Yeah, it was free-legged too.
I know one thing. When I had him in the car, nobody can come near that car. I could have had $1 million in the back seat. Nobody would get in the car. Okay, Doberman Jeb. I watched him too. Oh, Larry, you just reminded me. Don't go to dinner with Larry at a nice restaurant with a screaming kid. He would go nuts. My son is just like that. Says, why bring your kids to a nice restaurant? I don't know what that means. Larry is totally correct. Harness racing is in the toilet and scared to change anything. I don't understand. Okay, what effect will ice raids have on horse racing?
A lot.
They took 81 people out of one of the tracks, I heard.
Yeah.
Delaware or something?
No, Louisiana.
I don't know
Louisiana?
what track it was, but
Yep.
it's going to have an effect.
You're going to see when Saratoga opens, they're going to hit that place.
I know if you go back the last 20 years, every Preakness winner, Kentucky Derby winner, Belmont winner was held in the winner's circle by an illegal alien. So they're gonna be in trouble.
Crooning house, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, guys.
Comments, guys. I
Eddie,
am going.
You're going to bed.
Yeah.
Anthony, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Eddie's going to bed.
You're going to have your Haagen-Dazs, Larry?
Joe, yeah. You know what I bought now?
Turnover.
You're going to have your waffle.
I bought the Dove dark chocolate with vanilla ice cream, the Pops.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh yeah, they're good.
They're delicious. This way, I don't have to carve the ice cream out of the Haagen-Dazs container.
You know what? Haagen-Dazs used to be a good ice cream, but they sold it to some a company like Kraft a few years back. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not.
your waffles, Larry?
No, now I bought the Pops, so I just have the Pops.
Oh, boy.
I eat the Pops. It's easy. You just open the freezer, take it out, take the cover off, and eat it.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I don't have to worry about toasting a frozen thing. Anyway.
All right, guys.
All right, Anthony.
All
Joe.
All right, thank you all for coming on. I don't know if Freddie hasn't gotten in touch with me yet.
I'm working Thursday, Friday, and
It'll
Saturday.
be me and Joe.
If Freddie,
I'm out of the movie, so forget about it.
Yeah, right.
I never was even thought about.
We're boycotting it now.
If it was a porno, he probably would let me in, but he wouldn't let me in the movie.
no, Ronnie Pierce. Oh, let me say this.
His birthday was yesterday.
Oh,
wasn't
I
it?
called up. I spoke to text Billy O'Donnell today. So I gotta read this. He's a funny guy. Let me tell you what I text him. I text him. Let's see. Here it is. I text him because if you remember when he was on here, he just broke his foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I says, I hope your operation was successful and you're up and about. Stay well. He texts back, they decided not to operate. They said, I'm too old. The bone healed, but the ligaments are slow to heal. Same to you. I'm still working on Pierce. He's still trying to get Donnie Pierce to come
First,
on.
you got to find him in the woods.
So I sent him back. In many cases, stem cell injections might work. Another option is a hyperbaric chamber. They sell them now for home use. Go slow. He sent me back. There's a hyperbaric chamber in the city here. I've been using some machine that Kathy, his wife, bought years ago for her shoulder. It seems to help. I have a trainer stock on my trainer stock on my foot last week for plant. I can't say that word. And then I wrote back, whatever works. However, I think it's safe to say you won't be playing basketball this year. And then he writes back, typical O'Donnell writes back, I also canceled my dance lessons. That's Billy. That's Billy. Anyway, okay, thank you guys. I'll talk to you during the week. I'll see you. I'm getting rid of you right now. Then I'm going to play that one song.
Larry,
I haven't played it in so long.
which one?
It's getting late.
Okay, but stay on afterwards. I want to ask you something. Or I'll call you.
Okay, call me after I shut this down.
Joe,
All right.
talk to you.
See you guys.
Dump those grudges, ditch those judges. They're just weighing you down. Drop the haters, procrastinators, 'cause one man's smile is just another one's frown. When it's time for the end, ain't no warning, my friend. One day you're here, next stop the pearly gates. So listen close to what I'm saying. Lighten up, it's getting late. Dump collections, self-reflections, they're just covered in dust. Why obsess, worry or stress? Just ask yourself, what's the fuss? When your doctor calls you on a Sunday afternoon, gonna be a blue Monday, you'll be howling at the moon. You know you never can cheat fate. Lighten up, it's getting late. Forget bling and glitter, text and Twitter. Don't need it to make my case. Say it old school, face to face. Dump the users, soul abusers, turn and walk away. Give yourself a kick in the ass, then raise your glass. Let's toast to the past and make the most of today. Keep the faith, rise above, do the things that you love. Find a reason every day to celebrate. So listen close to what I'm saying. Lighten up, it's getting late. Live it well, have a blast. Live it full, life goes fast. Carrying around too much dead weight. All the simple things are all that matter. Lighten up, it's getting late. Oh, what the hell? IGL. Oh, lighten up, it's getting late.
Good night, folks.